Let's take a look at the communication model. And this is not specific to business communication. This is any communication. The first thing we have is a communication need. So the sender of any communication recognizes, hey, I need to get some information from point A to point B. The sender then goes through a series of steps. They interpret the communication context. In other words, am I at work? Am I at home? What's going on around me? What is the situation? Is it an emergency? Etc., etc. And then probably the most important part is identifying and analyzing the audience. And we just call this audience analysis, and we'll refer to it as that for the rest of the semester. Who are you sending it to? What do you know about them? What do they know about you? All these different analysis. You would not present the same way to a group of rocket scientists that you would to a group of 6-year-olds, even if it was the same information. So you need to analyze your audience. They then determine what is their objective, what are they trying to achieve. Then they choose the medium. Am I going to email, make a phone call, text someone? How am I going to communicate the message? Then they actually create the message and send it. When they send it, we have this dagger through here. This is communication barriers. These are the things that mess up your message, and we'll talk about those in another video. Then the audience, the receiver of the information, interprets the message and then provides feedback and becomes the sender of a new message, and the whole thing just starts all over again. So taking a look at the filter that it goes through, we call this a personal filter or an individual filter. We all filter input through our own personal filter. And where does that come from? What is your personal filter? Your personal filter is the way that you look at the world. And it's based on your own life experiences. Where did you grow up? How did you grow up? What was your household like? Did you have siblings? What is your religion, your nationality, your ethnic background? Where did you go to school? What experiences did you have? Are you young? Are you old? If you're younger, you've had different experiences and probably fewer of them. If you're older, you've had different experiences and possibly more of them. So everything we do, everything that we are, affects how we view information when we get it. And two different people with different personal filters can get the same exact message and interpret it very differently based on their view of the world, so to speak. So keep in mind that personal filter, very important. And finally, just direction of communication. We're talking about business communication here, so we need to keep this in mind. This is a formal type of communication. Downward communication is when information flows from a manager or superior to someone who is an employee or lower level in the organization. Okay? So in this class, for example, I would be considered the manager, you would be considered the employee. If I'm communicating to you, that's downward communication. If you're communicating to me, that is upward communication. And if you're communicating to one of your classmates, that would be lateral or horizontal communication. The important part about this is you do not communicate the same way to your boss that you do with your friends. You do not communicate the same way to your employees that you do to your peers on the same level. You have to keep in mind there are all kinds of nonverbal signals in play here. Power, distance, we'll talk about power, distance, formality, and some other things later on in a later chapter. But just for this point right now, just keep in mind you don't communicate the same way. So you want to keep in mind who am I communicating with. Okay? And that's it for now.